Silence can feel like protection. It keeps the judgment out. It keeps the stigma out. But silence has a cost most people never talk about. It also locks families inside. Today we're talking about what happens when families decide to break that silence and what they build in its place. Last time we talked about the children carrying the invisible walls. Now let's talk about the moment a family chooses to take one of those walls down. Because silence isn't just quiet, it's a shield and it's a cage, both at once. It protects the family from being judged, but it also boxes them in. It keeps them from healing. Breaking that silence is hard. Nobody said it wouldn't be. But it's the only real way back to dignity, the only real way to rebuild what was lost. So why do families stay quiet in the first place? A few reasons. Usually, the stigma. Fear of what neighbors, schools, or co-workers will think. The shame, guilt a person carries even when they did nothing wrong. And there's survival. Silence as a way to shield children from bullying. Saying quiet feels safer in the moment, but over time it becomes its own wall, shrinking the space a family has to feel close to each other. And here's the part that's easy to miss. Silence isn't free. Families who stay silent often lose the words to talk about their own pain. Children grow up confused, not fully sure who they are, or why things feel the way they do at home. And without anyone meaning to, the stigma gets passed down, quietly, from one generation to the next. Too often, families end up carrying shame that was never truly theirs to carry. So what does it look like when a family finally breaks that silence? It starts with naming things, putting real words to the stigma, to the shame. It continues with a family refusing to be defined by one hard chapter, choosing instead to tell the truth about what they survived, quietly and bravely. Breaking silence doesn't mean standing up and announcing everything to the world. It's smaller than that, and it's more powerful than that. It's a grandmother finally telling her grandchildren the truth. It's a caregiver speaking up for the first time in a support group. It's a child writing down their story in a journal, just for themselves. Each one of these moments is a family taking their story back. And there are so many ways this happens in real life. Sometimes it's a hard, honest conversation at the kitchen table. Sometimes it's a support group or a church full of people who understand without needing an explanation. Sometimes it's a teacher or counselor creating the space where a child finally feels safe enough to speak. And sometimes it's art, writing, or video, whatever helps a family tell their story their own way. Even the smallest act, one whispered truth, one letter finally written, can start to take down a wall that stood for years. Because here's the truth. Incarceration doesn't get the final word on a family's story. Families rebuild by teaching their children that enduring the hard things is part of their strength, not a source of shame. They rebuild by showing each other that stigma doesn't have to be carried alone. And they rebuild by taking something incredibly hard and turning it into the season that they grew. Rebuilding legacy means one simple decision. This wall does not get to define our future. So here's what I want you to sit with. Where has silence protected you, but also kept you locked in? What's a story in your own family that's never really been told? And what might change if you were the one to finally tell it? Because this goes far beyond incarceration. Every family carries some wall of silence, and every family has the chance to take it down and build something stronger in its place. Breaking silence is the doorway to rebuilding legacy. Families carrying these walls can name what they've survived, reclaim their story, and turn shame into something stronger. In our final episode, we'll look at how families endure over the long run and how wisdom can grow even inside the hardest limits. Take care. Stay connected.